You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Hello there, this is Cece with Boy and Girl Thing. We have a new show, and I have Christopher with us. Say hello, Christopher.
Well, good evening, Cece, and I'm happy to be here with you.
We are trying to connect both WGSN-DB Going Solo Network and Blog Talk Radio as our new show and going live on both stations. So if you have a little bit of lapse in time, that's really what it is. We're trying to get the technical stuff worked out. But we're just so excited.
Absolutely. Hallelujah.
I know. let us tell you a little bit of what the show's about. The show is about kind of like not a battle of the sexes.
No way. No. There shouldn't even be a battle.
No. It's kind of more like he said, she said, but we're talking about dating issues, relationship issues, how to move through your life. And you know, the guys, and coming from a woman, the guys have this male perspective on things.
Wait a minute. It's not just the guys that have perspective. The women have their perspective, too.
Well, we do, too. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about dating issues, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get right on to it. What's our call-in number there?
323-870-4162, and all lines are open, and you can jump right in.
Yeah, so come on over and call us and tell us what issue you're having, if you're having a problem. Now, Chris, you've written a book about dating, so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the book came about because in the beginning, when I first started to use internet dating sites myself, I was meeting a lot of really wonderful ladies and enjoying meeting them in person. But I came to find out that their complaints, their problems, their questions all seem to follow a similar thread. They all seem to be similar. So I wanted to do something where I could help people. And initially, my idea was to create a website where people could write in or instant message the website, and I could respond to them with answers to their questions and their problems. And I had someone tell me, someone I respected very much, that was a great idea, and they liked what I had written on that website, but I could get my message out better if I wrote a book. And at first, I was like, write a book? What do I know about writing a book? And then I had a very, very dear friend of mine, someone I've known almost my entire life, who I trust their judgment, their opinion. And he said to me, you can write a book. I'll help you. After you get going a little bit, you get something going and written, send it to me. I'll look it over and we'll work through this together. And that's how it came about. And the book, I believe, answers just about every question that anybody could have. The whole idea behind it, again, is to make this a more pleasant, more enjoyable, and a happier experience for everyone.
Well, it's a great book, and I tell you what, it's an easy read because it's not a big binder, in which to read. So it's a quick read, and everyone can actually do that. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Cece Shatz, and I am the owner of WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We have terrific hosts on that network. It's www.goingsolonetwork.com. We talk about dating issues, divorce recovery, transition into dating, inspiration. We have some great authors, such as Christopher here. And we also have business showcase and some products and services that we like to be able to share with our singles. It's all geared towards singles, and that's what we're all about here. Also, I do have my own personal show, which is called Going Solo with Cece, and that is every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. I hope that you will join me because I would love to have you there. And we talk about all kinds of stuff, but let's move on to our topic tonight, which is
how to get through internet dating and how to have a lot more fun doing it.
That's right. Embracing our differences as guys and gals going into this dating arena here. So let's see. Our first topic, we're going to talk about some of the common dating problems in dating. And, we're going to take a light, positive spin on this. So it's not a negative thing because we want to inspire you to get out there. And I tell you what, I did a little.
And at the same time, to help you to understand, you're not the only one. There are other people, thousands of people in the world that are probably sharing the same dilemmas, difficulties, problems that you have. Coming on with us, tell us what your problem is, tell us what you're going through, and chances are you'll be helping thousands of others, get through the same problem that you're having. They probably have it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, Chris and I are really good friends, and that's why we decided we would do this show. And we're both single, we're both dating, we're both out there online. We're having some of the same, situations that you all are having. And so we thought, what the heck, let's get on it and let's talk about it, about, maybe I can learn something from a guy and maybe he can learn something from me.
Absolutely.
So let's go on to the first one. We're going to talk about, which one do you want to tackle first?
How about fantasizing about the future?
Oh, yeah. So now you're on that date. You're on your first date. Everything's going great. And I'm saying, as a woman, I see wedding bells.
And I'm saying, hold on, babe. Put the brakes on for the moment.
Yeah.
The wedding bells, the flowers, the dress, it's all wonderful. I'm thinking the same thing, but I'm not thinking it as quickly as you are.
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking about trying to get the next date, or are you thinking about trying to get intimate?
I'm thinking if I'm really into you and I see the potential for a long future, yeah, I'm thinking about the next date. What could we do? What would be a lot of fun for both of us? An activity we would both enjoy, and really, the best relationships come from just enjoying quality time together. The activity is secondary to what you're really doing. So whether it's sitting on the beach, whether it's watching a sunset, walking through an art museum, it's more about you enjoy each other's company and you're comfortable with each other. That's the most important thing. And yeah, okay, wedding bells are great. I would love to hear them again in my life, but I'm probably not jumping to that quite yet. Let's enjoy each other's company first.
Well, I think for women, we tend to sometimes, if we see the guy that's going really great, we start envisioning them in our lives. And so we start making a place for them. And so that maybe is kind of hurtful for us because that's only, maybe one or two dates down the road. They're not really into our lives. And so when we start opening that door and we start thinking, gosh, maybe this guy is the one for me, then quickly the door gets slammed and then it's so painful for us. And so what I would suggest, and then what we're talking about is really try not to go so far into the future. Try to live more, in the moment. Savor it, don't you think?
One of the things I like to say, and I have told many people this, it's realistic to have expectations, but keep your expectations realistic. And the point being is take your time to get to know the person, see them in a variety of ways, see if you're comfortable. The best relationships are all about compatibility. So you want to make sure that you're absolutely compatible on a wide range of areas before you start calling a wedding planner.
Well, okay, let's talk a little about that. When we're talking, as we're on a date, we're talking. So we don't want to be interrogating the guy. We don't want to be. So do you want to be creative? And Lisa Copeland, who has a show called You Can Find Love After 50, she is great with this because she talks a lot about clever ways of talking, clever ways of asking questions, without interrogating. Now, have you ever been on a date, Chris, where you kind of felt like you were doing that?
Absolutely. And I've been the subject of the interrogation, and then I have found myself in the course of the conversation, without even realizing I'm doing it, the information they have presented to me sort of leads me to like want to know more. And it can begin to sound like I'm interrogating them. And that's only because they've said this about themselves or that about themselves. And, oh, okay, well, tell me more about it.
Yeah, absolutely right. What's our call-in number again?
It's 323-870-4162. And then all lines are open. You can jump right in.
Yeah, I agree with that in interrogating. You want someone to feel comfortable. And here's the reason why. Even though you want to know the information, you want to know about them. You're hungry and you do want to know about this person that's sitting across from you. But you want it to be enjoyable because that's what your life is going to be. And so if it starts becoming so, crazy and just boring, what is that? And so you want to kind of keep it light. You want to throw in some stories about yourself. If you're talking about certain topics, what I've found is that if I can talk a little bit about, kind of my background and kind of enter in some of those kind of stories, then generally he will enter in stories about himself.
Right, exactly. And it's easy to do after you've become comfortable with one another. If you sense that there is the possibility of a future, you can do this in the course of an activity where you're just going back and forth with casual conversation. Yeah, this happened to me. Yeah, this has been going on. Yeah, that happened too. You don't necessarily have to put somebody on a witness stand. There's time for that later on. If you're comfortable around the person and they feel comfortable around you and you sense that information will eventually work its way through. And really, the history is what it is, history. You can't change it. You can't bring it back. And there's no sense putting somebody on the witness stand in the very beginning of meeting them. You have plenty of time to learn all that stuff. You don't need to learn it. You don't need to know it right away. You don't need to know it up front.
I think that goes in the kind of
Absolutely.
So often I've been on dates where they've told me their whole life history and I'm just sitting there listening, and it goes on and on and on and they go back. And I'm thinking like, okay, what, I'm going to know what they had for breakfast when they were 3 years old. So it gets a little bit difficult like that. I think we're getting ready to go to a break. When we come back, I want to get into the details of what it would be like, after you do a date. Should we text? How do we handle texting? Kissing. Do we kiss? Are we supposed to be hugging, kissing, touching? What do we do, all these things? I'd like to know from a guy if we should be doing that, So when we take our break, when we come back, I want to know what Chris says about hugging, kissing, touching, and all that stuff. What do you say, Chris?
I'm blushing over here. I have my own ideas about that, part of that is the fact that I like to think I'm a touchy-feely type of person.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. So you are listening to Boy and Girl Thing with Christopher Smith, and we call him Kit for fun, and I'm Cece Shatz. So we're going to be right back, and we hope that you will join us, and stay tuned, and give us a call in the second half of the show. We'd appreciate that. So we'll be back for now.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Okay, we're bringing you back here. This is Cece with Boy and Girl Thing. I forgot where I am. I'm so used to saying my own show. So Boy and Girl Thing. And we are live on WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. It is such a pleasure to have you guys with us. And I tell you what, I have Christopher Smith here, and he's an author of a terrific book. What's the name of the book, Chris?
Let's meet our match, your complete guide to success in the world of internet dating.
Right. We're talking about dating. What's our calling number?
All right, 323-870-4162. All lines are open. You can hop right in, and we'd love to hear from you. I'm about as single as you can get. So,
Well, let's get on back to this. So we're going to talk about, on this section of the show, we're going to talk about hugging and kissing and all that kind of stuff. If we go on our first date, let's say we're just meeting someone for the first time. We're online, we've emailed a little bit, we've given our phone number out, we did a little chat, we think, interesting, let's go ahead and meet them. We're meeting them. So now what do we do, Chris? I mean, ladies, we're just kind of lost, right, to figure out, what is the approach? If he reaches for our hand, if he, sometimes we feel like that might be a little bit too much.
Body language is like a dead giveaway. If you're really interested in the person, and you're going to sense that almost right away, okay? It's a chapter that I devoted in the book called Chemistry. And I hardly read a female profile that doesn't mention it in some form or another. And if you're feeling that chemistry with someone, you can't wait until they touch your hand. On the other side of that, the flip side is if you're not feeling it, you're hoping like crazy they don't reach for your hand. So it really comes down to how you're feeling at the moment with the person that you're with. If you're really, truly interested and you feel that chemistry exists, touch of the hand, a little hug, a little kiss as you say goodnight is perfectly acceptable.
Well, what about, for instance, we're on the date, and I think, ladies, I think that we have to show some affection because I think that's part of our personality as women. We're nurturers and we're caring people. And so if we find a gentleman that we kind of like, I think we have to give him the signals that we are interested. That doesn't mean that he can leap all over us and throw his tongue down.
No, of course not.
Things like that. But it does mean that part of being connected in a relationship is affection, and love and
physical
pride.
Contact.
Right. And so it's very, very important that there's limitations on that, there's boundaries on that, and there's respectfulness. And I think that if a man truly likes you, he'll want to be respectful. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
So I think if we're in the driver's seat, and so if we want to be, he's going to, if he likes you, he's naturally going to approach you. If you like him back, then you need to, respond, but with a restriction that, setting your boundaries. And I think that's absolutely fine. So, absolutely, I think that we need to be human, when we're dating, and definitely do that. But we also need to set boundaries. So make sure
physical contact is it's a human instinct. It almost goes without saying. I'm a touchy-feely person by nature. When I'm talking to someone, and even if I'm talking to a guy, I might touch his shoulder. I might put my hand on his back. It's just my nature personally to be that way. So when I'm talking with someone, I might touch your hand as we're talking. It's just something that I do. And it's part of being a human being is that we need contact. We need that. It nurtures us.
You're also gauging the woman when you do that. Because
sure.
You're trying her out. You're going to put your hand on her as you're talking. And if she pulls away or if she reacts, negative to that, then you know that you're going to stop.
Sure.
But if she goes ahead and lets you take her hand, then you know that you're, moving in and things are doing well. And that's
you're moving forward. Yeah. There's no absolute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it true? I'm just going to ask you this because I've been told this so many times that a man, as soon as he sees you, he'll know within 3 seconds that he's into you. Physically, like a minute, they're very, very physical. And
Oh, yeah.
and visual.
And guess what, my dear lady? Okay, women are exactly the same way when it comes to that. I read in their profiles that, and I have read every time limit from instantly to 10 seconds to 30 seconds to 2 minutes to 5 minutes as to whether or not I will have chemistry with you. So women are exactly that same way. And the point being, what they then add is, if I don't feel that chemistry, this first date isn't going to last very long, and there certainly is not going to be a second date. And I've had numbers of those. I've had a bunch of those where I could tell just looking at their eyes, looking at their facial expressions, we're not going past this one drink.
If that's the case, then do you just wrap up the date? Do you just wrap it up and move on? I think that's the way to do it. Really.
I will stay as long as the lady is comfortable. But if I start to sense that she's getting itchy and wants to head for the car, okay, well, it was nice meeting you and good luck and have a great life.
Okay, so let's switch it here. What if they're really into each other and they're kissing, they end up kind of kissing and things like that. And even though it's restrictive and it's proper and everything, you're kind of back in high school days again. What about that? I mean, what does the guy think about a woman afterwards when that happens? Does he think, all right?
Yeah, he may. It's so much of what we're talking about here. We're talking in general terms, but so much of it can be individual. There are ladies whose personalities are touchy, feely, kissy, huggy, and that's just the way they are. Then there are others who are a little bit distant, maybe a little cool.
Right. What I meant is, like, for you as a guy, from your honest opinion.
Oh, if I like her the way, again, I'm well.
You're good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with it if I like her, and I'm sensing that she's liking me, if she's doing what you're saying, it's fine. I'm not going to, if you're asking me, I'm not going to lose respect for that person. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I'm taking it as her being stimulated or excited about meeting me and can't wait to see me the next time. That's how I'm going to take it. I'm not going to take it as anything more than that. Just you like me, you're interested in me, and boy, let's plan a real date for the next time. Oh no.
So don't want to half an hour, so there's not.
Oh no.
Really
I was just getting warmed up here.
So we're going to be on every week, and we're going to try to talk about different issues, try to do different things. We're going to try to do a game chat night where we gather a bunch of people and we talk about issues and let them share how they feel about certain topics. We want to have some special guests on to be able to, share with us what their opinion is, some dating experts. And I would
what we also would really like is we're going to be on every Thursday at 8:30, and so we got a whole week. And what we would love is for you to contact the show with your questions during the week. You can help set us up for the following Thursday. Maybe we'll answer your question. Maybe we can, get right to something that'll make a difference in your life. But contact us.
Absolutely.
Send us an email. You don't have to call in, but you can send us an email. We'd love to have you call in, but send us an email with a question or a concern or an issue, and we'll address it on the show.
Right. All you have to do is go to our site, GoingSoloNetwork.com, www.GoingSoloNetwork.com. Go to our host page, which is Kit and Cece, and you just go down there. There's a place right there. You can email us. You can go to GoingSoloNetwork@gmail.com. You can email us there. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know any topics that you'd like to cover, things you don't want to hear, because we don't want to repeat ourselves, because we know there's a lot of dating information out there. But we want to be the station for you, to be able to help you be able to get through to to your next step and live your best life. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to make this a more enjoyable and pleasurable experience for you.
It's so great to have you. We are so excited. We hope this has turned out well for Blog Talk Radio. We will be back on Blog Talk Radio at 8 Eastern Time, which is a great show. It's only going to be a half an hour, and it's boy and girl thing. And so Chris and I are going to be there. And also we're going to try to do a live show each and every Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Time p.m. So we hope that you will join us on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We love to have you. I tell you what, we got to run because Elizabeth is coming up now. Elizabeth Lewis, and she's going to be talking about her great book. So thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Cece.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.